the debate between Savitri and death continues. In fact, it is hotting up to the point of resolution now. Something must happen soon, and something great is going to happen soon. In the meanwhile, Savitri is answering the arguments which were put forward by death. And she says, but Savitri answered to the sophist god. He was arguing with metaphysical niceties of points, details like that, and therefore she is calling him a sophist god. And therefore, to some extent, her argument is also a kind of a spiritual sophistry, an occult spiritual sophistry in response to what death is telling to her. Once more wilt thou call light to blind truth's eyes. Make knowledge a catch at the snare of ignorance, and a word a dart to slay my living soul. Once more wilt thou call light to blind to sight, light to blind to eyes. What death is speaking is a truth. It is that truth which is going to make the eyes of truth blind. It is a kind of a powerful statement of his which will subdue the smaller truth. Once more wilt thou call light to blind truth's eyes. Essentially, no light can blind truth. Whatever kind is a capital light, the higher superior light, and it cannot really blind truth at all. But then what does Savitri mean by saying, wilt thou call light to blind truth's eyes? What does she mean by that light blinding the eyes of truth? It only means that the operation of that truth in the dynamics of the ignorant creation, it is that which can get blinded, which can get affected. You are throwing a light, calling it truth, in the working of the inconscient dynamics, and therefore it can as if get lost of its own truth, of its own sight. When the truth is moving in the field of inconscience, as if it does not see its own path there. And it is that truth now which you are calling here and summoning as a part of your argument. Make knowledge a catch of the snare of ignorance. So actually again here, knowledge is becoming something which can be caught by ignorance. You can use, well, in a way of general saying, the devil is using the scripture for justifying his own method. See, the devil uses the scripture, quotes the scripture to justify his own action, his own understanding of things like that. Knowledge catch of the snare of ignorance, and word a dart to slay my living soul. The word of power is being thrown like an arrow to slay my soul. You are using a divine word as if to slay my soul. Now, of course, soul is a thing which can neither be slain nor killed or destroyed. Nainam chandanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. That is what the Gita says. Nainam chandanti, nobody, no truth, nothing can break the soul. Nainam, nothing. Chandanti, pierce. Shastrani, no arrow can pierce the soul at all, you see. Nainam dahati pavaka, Agni, fire cannot burn it, you see. Yet you are using a word here as if to slay my soul. You are using the power of the word, the power of the mantra, so to say, the dark mantra, by which you want to slay my soul. It's not possible. I am not one who will succumb to that kind of a thing. My eyes will not be blinded by what you are calling light. My knowledge will not be affected in the snare of your ignorance. My soul will not be affected by the word you are throwing as an arrow at me, you see. Therefore she says, offer, O king. You see what a beautiful thing she says, O king, Raja. She is addressing death as king, Raja. In fact, in the Sanskrit literature, original story of Savitri, Vyasa's Savitri, is called Dharmaraj. Dharmaraj, one who is the ruler of Dharma, of righteous conduct. Therefore, he is the king, and he is talking of Dharma, using light, using knowledge, using word. He is talking of those dharmic things by which he wants to kill the soul. And therefore she says, O Dharmaraj, offer your gifts to small creatures, not to me. Offer, O king, thy boon to tired spirits and hearts that could not bear the wounds of time. Let those who were tied to body and to mind tear off those bonds and flee into white calm, crying for a refuge from the play of God. Surely thy boons are great, since thou art he. Thy boons are great, since thou art he. She recognizes that, after all, death is the Supreme Himself who has assumed that form for a certain creative purpose, for certain evolutionary part to be played. He has assumed that form and he is playing that part. Surely thy boons are great, since thou art he. Now this is something really remarkable. She is saying that thou art he. Why does she say that? In a way, she has to say that. She says that until now, life only was my attempt to love. And therefore, I missed the victory. I had to win the victory in death. You are death. You have to win victory. You have to be there. And who can be that? He himself, the Supreme Himself. Life only until now was my sole concern, occupation to win the victory. I could not win the victory without death. If she cannot win the victory without death, it means that he has to be he. He has to be he. But how shall I seek rest in endless? You want me to go and live there in heaven, in the beatitude and all that kind of a thing. But how shall I seek rest? I cannot be happy there. I cannot remain content there. who, how the mighty mother's violent force, I am full of violent Shakti, vibrant, power. I cannot remain quiet now, you see. I can never remain quiet. Her vision turned to read the enigmatic world. Her will tempered in the blaze of wisdom's sun and the flaming silence of her heart of love. See, this is the Kali, real Mahakali. She is full of power, mighty mother. At the same time, blaze of wisdom sun, flaming silence of her heart of love. At the same time, her heart is full of love. Amor is there always, you see. There. Flaming, silent, quietly it works, you see. The world, therefore, the world is a spiritual paradox invented by a need and the unseen. So that summarizes the entire dilemma, the metaphysical dilemma of spirituality. The world is a spiritual paradox. God is great, God is good, God is virtuous. Then how has come this smallness? How has come this sin, this littleness? How? That is a paradox. That is a paradox. But then, this paradox has been purposefully introduced. There is a need. The paradox is going to serve a certain need. In the unseen has seen everything. And as a part of his working, he has introduced this as a paradox. The conflict between good and evil, sin and virtue, what you want to call it, is there because it is functional. It is by that things can be achieved. A poor translation to the creature's sense, and the creature, ordinary human mind, cannot understand the necessity of this unseen paradox. Of that which forever exceeds idea and speech, a symbol of what can never be symbolized, a language mispronounced, misspelled, yet true. You see. So basically, the whole, the key here is need in the unseen to introduce this spiritual paradox. It is by that only that the divine manifestation can come out. In the ultimate sense, the ultimate paradise, God is full. He creates a void. He empties himself out. And then out of that void, he wants to again bring the fullness. So that is kind of a paradox. But that fullness and the fullness which is then coming out of the void, they are of different quality. Their functional roles are different. It is a new manifestation which was not there earlier at all. And what will then come out of the manifestation will be a constantly growing manifestation. It cannot be the same thing again and again. It is not a frozen manifestation. Gods are there, beauty is there, joy is there, happiness is there. They are frozen things now. But they have to constantly expand, they have to grow, they have to multiply. Therefore, the way of achieving that thing is to come out of the void. The void is therefore functional. There is a need in the unseen, felt by that. And therefore, out of that void, a new creation can arise. A creation which is not a frozen creation, which will keep on growing endlessly, infinitely. A language mispronounced, misspelled, yet true. Its powers have come from the eternal heights. And plunged into the inconscient dim abyss, and reason from it to do their marvelous work. So this is what we have just talked about, you see. And reason from it to do their marvelous work. From it, from the dim abyss. Is power. Is stands for the world. His powers come from the eternal height and plunge in the inconscient to dim the pale and reason from it to do their marvelous work. Of course, it cannot do its marvelous work by remaining always on, or by remaining on the eternal heights. Because again, it will be the same thing. You want a new creation, endless creation, a creation which is not frozen. For that, you have to plunge into the abyss so that a marvelous work can be done. This marvelous work cannot be done on the eternal heights. Marvelous work cannot be done on the eternal heights. Marvelous work has to be done by plunging into the abyss and then coming up. The soul is a figure of the unmanifest figure. Now, figure is not just a sketch like that. It's not in that sense. It is a form. It is a form. It is something which is which has kind of acquired an individuality. It's a form, figure. Figure is not just a sketch, you see. Let me see what I said here. The soul is a figure of the unmanifest. Figure, a visible form or appearance of a person. A visible form or appearance of a person. The actual sense is in Latin, figura. It is from that it comes. A shape, form, or figure. It is not a sketch. It is a shape, a form, something, figura. It is coming from that, you see. Now, what he says is, the soul is a figure of the unmanifest, visible form or an appearance of a person. It is unmanifest, which means invisible. It is that invisible which becomes visible as a figure. As a figure. In other words, what is not in manifestation so far has emerged, has entered into manifestation. And that is the soul. What is not in manifested so far, but which has entered into manifestation is the soul, and that you call a figure of the unmanifest. Now, Savitri is making a big statement here. She is talking, what is soul? Soul is a figure of the unmanifest. Then, what is mind? It labors to think the unthinkable. What cannot be conceived, what cannot be imagined, she imagines. Mind. And what is life? Life caused immortal into birth. And body, it enshrines the illimitable. So the complete picture is there. Soul, mind, life, body. What else you want? In 4 lines, she has described what we are and what are we here for. Our soul is an aspect of the unmanifest. Our mind is again an aspect of the unthinkable. Our life is an aspect of immortality into birth. Our body is the house for the illimitable. Although it is small, it is going to house a small tiny second is there. That second is going to house the entire eternity. Small dot is there. That dot is going to house entire infinity. The soul is a figure of the unmanifest. The mind labors to think the unthinkable. The life to call the immortal into birth. The body to enshrine the illimitable. The world is not cut off from truth and God. That is her assertion. There is no separation between this world and God. Because she has already stated here what is soul, what is mind, what is life, what is body. If they are there like that, then how can you say that they are cut off from God? They are not cut off from God at all. Therefore, she is again asserting, look, today mind may look mind, body may look body, life may look life, etc. But actually, they are the aspects of God Himself, of truth and God. They are not cut off from truth and God. So she is really dismissing in one sentence the entire materialist philosophy. She is dismissing entirely the philosophy of Maya. Maya, that is illusion, this is mithya, this is not true, this is false. In vain thou hast dug the dark, unbreachable gulf. In vain thou hast built the blind and doorless wall. Man's soul crosses through thee to paradise. Heaven's sun forces its way through death and night. Its light is seen upon our being's world. So she is asserting that. In vain thou hast dug. So all this, the world is not cut off. It appears to be cut off because of you. Because of you. In vain thou hast dug the unbreachable gulf. Thou hast built the blind, doorless wall between truth and the world. Man's soul crosses through thee to paradise. Now this is again, man's soul crosses through thee to paradise. So this is the functional role of death. It is death who is really promoting man to go to paradise, to enter into paradise, to live in paradise. Heaven's sun forces its way through death and night. They are helping death and night. They are not superfluous. They are not just antagonists. They have got a certain role to play in the scheme of things. Again, a need, you see. Heaven, sun, again the same thing. Go back, the same. Life only was until now my attempt to love, to live. But death is there also playing its part. Its light is seen upon our being's world. My mind is a torch lit from the eternal sun. My life a breath drawn by the immortal gale. My body, my mortal body, is the eternal's house. My mortal body is the eternal's house. Savitri is making a big statement. My body, my mortal body is the eternal's house. She has not yet transformed her body, but she is already sure that it is that which is going to really house the eternal in it. My mind is a torch lit from the eternal sun. My life a breath drawn with the immortal gale. My mortal body is the eternal house. Already the torch becomes the undying ray. You see, the torch has become the undying ray of the sun. Already the life is immortal's force, immortal. The house grows of the householder part and one. So he has housed it, he is growing now in his body itself. How sayest thou, truth can never light the human mind, and bliss can never invade the mortal's heart. O God, descend, or God descend into the world he made. You are making an unfounded statement. I assert that truth can light the human mind. I assert that bliss can invade the mortal's heart. I assert that God descend into the mortal world He made. So he is the denier, she is the affirmative principle of existence. Not only affirmative principle, but the affirmative dynamics to make it real. In the meaningless void, now she is again quickly tracing the course of evolution. If in a meaningless void creation rose, so the creation came out of the void. If from a bodiless force matter was born, if life would climb in the unconscious tree, if green delight break into emerald leaves, and its laughter of beauty blossom in the flower, if sense could wake in tissue, nerve, and cell, and thought seize the grey matter of the brain, and soul pee from its secrecy to the flesh, how shall the nameless light not leap on men? And unknown power, how shall the nameless light not leap on men, and unknown powers emerge from nature's sleep? If all this has happened, from the void came this creation, out of it came matter, out of it came life, out of it came thought, then in the sequence, can you stop saying that this is the end and nothing will happen beyond that? Soul pee from secrecy to the flesh, how shall the nameless light not leap on men? In the same manner, it will come to men. And unknown powers emerge from the nature's sleep. Now, in the mathematical language, in the language of physics, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. Therefore, this will happen. Therefore, this will happen. That is called the Lagrangian extrapolation. Lagrange, the mathematician, French mathematician. You heard of him? No? Oh, you heard, yeah. So they say Lagrangian extrapolation, you see. This has happened, so you go like that, okay, then it will happen like that. So she is using the Lagrangian argument to say that all these things have happened, and therefore how can you deny this not happening? And soul pee from its secrecy to the flame, how should the nameless light not leap on men, and unknown powers emerge from nature's sleep? Unknown powers emerge from nature's sleep. They are already there, they are asleep, they have to open out. But at the same time, how shall the nameless light not leap on men? Coming down from above, leaping from above, and something emerging. She is making both the statements simultaneously. Something leaping from above and something emerging from here. Even now, hints of a luminous truth can, like stars, arise in the mind, moon splendors of ignorance. Even now, the deathless lover's touch we feel. In the chamber's door is even a little ajar. What then can hinder God from stealing in, or who forbade his kiss on the sleeping soul? Even now, hints of luminous truth are there. How many of us see these hints, receive these hints? This girl of hardly 18 years old, she sees even now that there are hints of luminous truth entering here. And we stupid people don't even know that, you see. You see. How does she know? Even now, hints of a luminous truth. She has faculties of cognition which are developed, and she sees those things happening and working here. As early as 1914, 25th September 1914, the mother saw already a new light shall break upon the earth, a new world shall be born and all that. 1914. Already she has seen that thing. She is yet to do the whole yoga. And then later on, of course, on 29th February 1956, she says, a new light breaks upon the earth. Shall break has broken. She already knew a new light shall break, a luminous truth. The hints she has already received from the Supreme. She was alert already in that decision. Arise in mind, moon splendor of ignorance. Even now, she is confronting death, but still she says, this is bound to happen. Or who forbade his kiss on the sleeping soul? Already, God is near. The truth is close. 1914, you see. But it has happened in 1956. Because the dark atheist body knows him not, must the sage deny the light, desire his soul. The whole problem is this. The whole problem is here. Because the dark atheist body, atheist, who does not recognize the presence of God in things, him I will call atheist. The body does not recognize the presence of God in it. Therefore, the body is an atheist body. Body has not yet opened itself to God. It does not see God at all present there. Therefore, it is atheist. Not enough tapas has been done in the physical to see the presence of God in body. Not yoga has been done in the physical cells that it can sense the presence of God in the physical. Therefore, it is atheist. Now, it is to break this atheism of the body that the mother was constantly engaged with the work of physical transformation, opening out the physical cells slowly to the supreme light and force, is making the atheist body a theist body. Once that becomes a theist body, when it recognizes the presence of God in it, then it is God who works fully in it. So the yoga of theism of body is what the mother was engaged with during the last 15 years after 1956, so to say. But she already had that knowledge at the age of 18. Savitri talking to Yama is at the age of 18, you see. She already had that knowledge. Must the sage deny the light, the seer his soul? I am not bound by thought or sense or shape. I live in the glory of the infinite. I am near to the nameless and the unknowable. Nameless and the unknowable. The ineffable is now my household maid. My God, you see. What an assertion. What power, you see. Nameless and now unknowable, beyond the knowable, beyond the unknown, is the unknowable, which is not manifest, that is the unknowable. What has not come out into manifestation, that is the unknowable. So Savitri's station, Savitri's origin, source is that unknowable. She is coming here from that unknowable, you see. I am near to the nameless and the unknowable. I am near. She is coming from the unknowable, but now because she has taken a mortal form, she asserts that I am near the unknowable. Going back to the unknowable. The ineffable is now my household maid. But standing on the eternity's luminous brink, I had discovered that the world was He. I had discovered that the world was He. I have met spirit with spirit, self with self, but I have loved too the body of my God. I had discovered that the world was He. When did she discover that the world is He? She is asserting here, I had discovered that the world was He. When did she discover that? She discovered in 1914. Again, I had discovered that the world was He. I have met spirit with spirit, self with self, but I have loved too the body of my God. I had discovered that the world was He. Madam, when? 20 May 1914, from the height of the summit, which is the identification of Thy divine infinite love, Thou didst turn my eyes to this complex body, which has to serve Thee as Thy instrument. She has already discovered in 1914. This body has to serve as His instrument, and Thou didst tell me, it is myself. Dost Thou not see my light shining in it? And indeed, I saw Thy divine love, clothed in intelligence, then in strength, constituting His body in His smallest cell, and shining so brightly in it that it was nothing but a combination of millions of radiant sparks, all manifesting that they were Thyself. See what realization already there. And now all darkness has disappeared, and Thou alone livest in different worlds, in different forms, but with an identical life, immutable and eternal. This divine world, you see, she has already that realization, divine world of Thy immutable domain of pure love and invisible unity must be brought into close communion with the divine world of all the other domains, even on the earthly, on the terrestrial, right down to the most material, in which Thou art the center and very constitution of each atom, to establish a bond of perfect consciousness between all the successive divine worlds is the only way to live constantly, invariably in Thee, accomplishing integrally the mission Thou hast entrusted to the entire being in all its states of consciousness and all its modes of activity. O my sweet Master, Thou hast caused a new veil to be rent, another veil of my ignorance, and Thou art living my bliss in Thy eternal heart. I am at the same time in the imperceptible but infinite heart of each of the atoms constituting my body. See what relation already. 20 May 1914, you see, 1914. Strengthen this complete and perfect consciousness. Make me enter into all the details of perfection and grant that without leaving thee for a single moment, I may constantly move up and down this infinite ladder according to the necessity of the work thou hast prescribed for me. I am thine. I am in thee, thyself, in the plenitude of eternal bliss. She already had that realization. I have discovered that the world was He. She has already that realization. If she already had that realization, then what was she doing after that is 40? She was busy with this. That I may constantly move up and down this infinite ladder according to the necessity of the work thou hast prescribed for me. That is what she was doing after 20 May 1914. She had the realization. What was she busy? What was her yoga? She summarized the whole thing at once. This is a very powerful line. I had discovered that the world was He. One example is here, recorded 20 May 1914. She has recorded it. Maybe it happened much earlier than that. We don't know. You see. But it has to be perhaps in 1914, after 29th March 1914, after meeting Sri Aurobindo. After meeting Sri Aurobindo. Because the work is prescribed there, that I can move up and down the ladder. I have met spirit with spirit, self with self, but I have loved too the body of my God. So that is what she was busy with. The atheist body has to become the theist body. Atapta tanu, that is what the Vedic phrase says. The vessel which has not been properly baked, a vessel in which yoga has not been done, it is in that vessel the yoga has to be done. I have loved to the body of my God. Now she has done this thing, I have loved to the body of my God. When? In the presence of death. It is death who has compelled her to do that, to make the body a theist body. It is death's contribution to the yoga of Savitri. Life alone until now was my concern, but that did not serve the full purpose. That I have loved to the body of my God. I have pursued Him in His earthly form, pursued Him, God, in His earthly form, in the physical. Now, here we got world was He, Him, God. Whether this H should be capital or not, it is understood. It is referring to God. It is used as a pronoun, not in the name of it as a specific thing. I have pursued Him in His earthly form. A lonely freedom cannot satisfy a heart that was grown one with every heart. I am a deputy of the aspiring world. Now she is revealing who she is. She, the delegate, she has said, I have been sent by God, we have been sent by God, we already seen that. My spirit's liberty, I ask for all. I don't need liberty for myself because it's always free. But whatever I want is for man, for the world, for all. I have taken this form for that purpose. So that is the answer Savitri makes to death. But death has still to argue. Then rang again a deeper cry of death. Deeper cry. Savitri, what are you talking? I am stunned, I am shaken. But what is that? Again, a deeper cry. As if beneath its weight of sterile law, as if beneath its weight of sterile law. Sterile law. All his arguments, all his law is proving sterile. He is not bearing fruit because of Savitri. Therefore it is sterile. As if beneath his weight of sterile law, he is now sort of under his own weight or the laws which are not yielding results. As if beneath his weight of sterile law, oppressed by his own obstinate, meaningless will. Obstinate, meaningless will. It has become meaningless now. Savitri has made it meaningless, his will. And it is that will now which is kind of oppressing him. Disdainful, very uncompassionate, it kept no more its old intolerant sound. So, already a change has taken place in death, in Yama. It kept no more its old intolerant sound. So, he sees now something of worth in what Savitri is saying. He is not just now opposing it. It kept no more its old intolerant sound, but seemed like lives in her unnumbered paths. But seemed like lives in her unnumbered path. Her stands for life. But seemed like life in life's unnumbered paths. Means his will is now the way in which life is moving in countless ways in his creation. It is in that manner his will is moving. But same like life in an unnumbered path, toiling forever and achieving not. Toiling forever and achieving not. Therefore it has become sterile. It has become meaningless. Achieving not. Because of birth and change, her mortal power, her again life, mortal power, by which she lasts around a term post fixed, turning of a wide circling aimless ray, whose course forever, space and is the same. So you got the post here marked there, but the post keeps on moving also for life. In its long play with fate and chance and time, its law, its will. In its long play, its will, its long play with fate and chance and time, assured of the game's vanity, lost or won, crushed by its load of ignorance and doubt, which knowledge seems to increase and growth to enlarge, the earth mind sings and it despairs and looks all weary and discouraged on its work. Yet was all nothing then or vainly achieved. If it is so, was that achieved, whatever has been achieved, is it vain in spite of that? It is not so. Some great thing has been done. through the process of death, some great thing has been done. Some light, some power delivered from the huge inconscious grasp, it has emerged from night. Matter came, life came, mind came, spiritual light has dawned, you see. Delivered from huge inconscious grasp, it has emerged from night. It sees its dawn circling forever, though no dawn can stay. The dawns are not stable at the moment, all right, but that does not mean that the dawns are not there. This change was in the goddess' far-flung voice. So this is the change which has taken place in the Godhead, that is death. Already the change has taken place, occurred in death. Far-flung voice, his voice is now different, it's changed. So the impact of her voice, the occult power is working in such a way that he has really now undergone the first change. His voice is different. His form of dread was altered and admitted our transient effort at eternity. All right, it can sneak in now. Yet flung vast doubts of what might else have been on grandiose hints of an impossible day. The great voice surging cried to Savitri. The great voice surging cried to Savitri. The great voice surging cried to Savitri. The great, that is, I am. Voice surging, that is spondy. Again, cry, surging cry to Savitri. That is the meter. So you have got here, first foot is I am, second foot is spondy, third foot is I am, fourth foot is again I am, to Sa, and fifth foot Itri, Pirik, short. That is the metrical. The great voice surging cried to Savitri, because thou knowest the wisdom that transcends both ways of forms and contempt of form, arise delivered by the seeing God. Because you understand that thing, rise, be free of form. See, this is what the mother has said also, no? What we are saying just now. O my sweet master, thou hast caused a new veil to be rent. Another veil of my ignorance. See, both the veils have been called. Without leaving my blissful place in thy eternal heart. Without leaving my blissful place in thy eternal heart. If free, thou hast kept thy mind from life's fierce stress, thou mightst have been like them, omniscient, calm, them, gods, seeing gods. But because you are bound by mind, you are tied to life, therefore you lack the omniscient calm. Because of that, the violent, passionate heart forbids, it's not allowing you to be free like gods. You are still a passionate creature, emotional, charged. The violent and passionate, she is arguing fiercely, intensely, therefore she is violent, full of passionate. It is the storm bird of an anarch power that would upheave the world and tear from it the indecipherable scroll of fate, death's rule and law, and the unknowable will. It is that you are tearing off because your heart is still passionate, violent. Hasten to action. Hasten us to action. Violators of God are these great spirits who had too much love. And they who form like thee for both art thou. I come into the narrow bounds of life with two large natures overleaping time. You want to leap times and move faster? You cannot. Worshippers of force who know not her recoil. Force, you are worshipping Shakti, power, strength, might. But you don't know how that power can recoil. Her stands for force. Their giant wills compel the troubled ear. The wise, you are a passionate creature, violators of God, etc. Worshippers of foes who know not recoil, their giant wills compel the troubled ear. The wise are tranquil, silent, the great hill rise. Now he says, the wise are tranquil. You are not tranquil, therefore you are not wise. You lack wisdom. Silent, great hills, they remain quiet, steady all the while. Rise ceaselessly toward an unreachable sky. So the hills, in their calm strength, they try to reach the sky. Seated at their unchanging base, their heads dreamless in heaven, a beautiful domain. On their aspiring tops, sublime and still, lifting halfway to heaven the climbing soul, the mighty mediators stand content to war the revolution to the stars. So that is what they do here. But you are not that. You don't have that wisdom at all with you. Motionlessly moving with the might of earth, they see the ages pass and are the same. They see. Who are these they? The mighty mediators. In fact, they also mean the wise. Goes back to wise. The wise are tranquil. Wise is a plural. Motionlessly moving with might of earth, they see the ages pass and are the same. Nothing is changing. Things are moving, but there is really no change. The world is the same, what it was yesterday, it will be the same tomorrow. Nothing has changed. Motion is there, but movement is there, but no change at all. Motionlessly moving, that is the oxymoron. With the might of earth, they see the. We had actually earlier one more example of oxymoron, 144.4. Ever he obeys her fixed mutations law. Fixed mutation. Mutation is constantly there. 144.4. Third line. They see the ages pass and are the same. Again, the wise think with the cycles. They wise, all that thing again here. Think with the cycle. They hear the tread of far off things, patient, unmoved, they keep their dangerous wisdom to the depths of turning. Lest man's frail days into the unknown should sink, dragged like a ship by bound Leviathan into the abyss of the stupendous sea. Dragged like a ship by bound Leviathan. Leviathan, sea monster. Sea monster. What does it say, Leviathan? Sea monster. Actually, this word Leviathan is a biblical word with L capital, Leviathan. It appears in the book of Job, Genesis, book of Job. You seen book of Job? Yeah, yeah. I read that. Well, book of Job. See, Job was kind of tested all through his life. He was a rich man, very noble man, wise man, etc., etc., etc. But then his faith in God was extremely strong, unbreakable, unshakable, his faith. God wanted to test his faith. That is what the Abrahamic God will do. He will test your faith. And therefore he set the devil on the path. And the devil created all kind of calamities for him. Took away all his properties, took away all his children, everything, completely gone, absolutely desperate. He became ill, he became suffered. All those things were happening to Job, you see. And then, do you still believe God? Do you still believe God? Do you still believe God? He said, yes, yes. If he has given me that, he has also given me this. What is the difference for me? His faith remained unshaken till then. At one point of time, his ship was drowned by the Leviathan in the sea. Even then, he did not lose his faith in God. And then he was rewarded because his faith was so firm in God. He was rewarded. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and all kind of riches of the world and all that. Most beautiful daughters. He had 3 daughters. We see some of this description pertaining to God in the next book, the book of the Everlasting Day, which is very appropriate. With all the miseries through which life has gone and withstood in the faith of God, then the world gets reward. In other words, Job becomes a kind of a metaphor for the world. If the world undergoes through all the difficulties and still holds on to the faith of God, God will give all the riches to the world. That is what we had then in the 11th book, the book of the Everlasting Day. Very sweet book, you see. In fact, you should read, we'll read together along with that book, you see. Job and this also, you see. The wise think with the cycles, they hear the trade. Of far of things, patient and moved they keep. The dangerous wisdom in their depths unstrained. Lest man's frail days into the unknown should sink, dragged like a ship by the bound Leviathan, into the abyss of the stupendous sea. Lo, how all shakes when the God's day too near. So don't bring them God's very close, you'll sink like that, you see. All moves is in peril, anguished, torn, upheaved. The hurrying aeons stumble on, too swift, its strength from heaven, surprise the imperfect earth, and veil its knowledge mote those unfit souls. Obviously, they will tremble and fall. The deities have screened the dreadful power. Lucky that they have kept their power, dreadful power screened, hidden. God hides his thought and even he seems to err. That is a statement made by Death. God hides his thought and even he seems to err. Does God really hide his thought from us? If he hides, he is hiding them for a purpose, with an intention. But because we say that he is hiding the thought from us, therefore it appears that he is making a mistake, he is erring somewhere. We are not able to move because we are not able to see his thought. Therefore we constantly keep on erring. Same to earth. He has made a mistake perhaps in the whole process. Firstly, God cannot hide in that sense at all his thought. We may not be able to see it, does not mean that he is hiding. The mother says, finally, her formula is, Lord, whatever you will, succor tu veux. Seigneur, succor tu veux. Whatever you will, he has kept something hidden from her for a purpose, for an intention, so that what is there is coming out more and more fully out of you. Therefore, it is kept hidden. He is not hurrying by holding it back, you see. Be still and tardy in a slow, wise world. So his whole argument is, go quietly, slowly, steadily, it will happen. Be still and tardy in the wise word. Mighty art thou, with the dread goddess filled, to whom thou criest at dawn the dim woods. Mighty art thou, with the dread goddess filled. Yeah, mighty art thou. He recognizes that she is really mighty and that she is filled with the dread goddess, powerful, fierce goddess. She is filled, Savitri is filled with the force of that goddess. To whom, that goddess, to whom Savitri cried at dawn in the dim woods. See, the day of death, of Satyavan death has arrived. Savitri gets up early in the morning, does all her morning things. She gets ready. She goes and worships the image carved on a stone by her husband, Satyavan, Durga. He has sculpted the image in the forest hermitage where they are staying. She goes and worships Durga. Early morning, before the sunrise, she doing. This man is seeing right from above what is happening in the morning at 6 o'clock. You see, audio. Mighty art thou, with the dread goddess filled, to whom thou criest at dawn in the dim woods. In the forest, in your hermitage, in your place, what had happened in the morning? You went to Durga, worshipped her, cried to her, I want your protection, I want your force. And this man is watching everything from above. You see, Yama. Yeah. 133.5. Savitri, on the fated day, gets up early in the morning. Then silently she rose, and service done, bowed down to the great goddess simply carved by Satyavan upon a forest stone. So Satyavan is painted here as a sculptor. In the original story of Mahabharata, he is depicted as a painter, Chitra. Here he has become a sculptor. And on the stone he has carved the statue of Durga. What prayer she breathed, her soul and Durga knew. Her soul and Durga knew. That is the image carved by Satyavan on the forest stone. She is the one who protects against all difficulties. She gives the strength. Therefore, it's pretty appropriate. Sri Aurobindo earlier spellings of the Mahabharata characters were different than what we have here. Here, Durga is Doorga. Durga. In other place you have got Durga. I am Durga, goddess is proud and strong, and Lakshmi, queen, etc. But this canto, the Book of Death, was the draft which belongs to the early period, 1918 or so. 1918, the Arya period draft. So the characters' name were according to the old spellings. Satyavan, S-U-T-H-1. Ashwapoti, you see, like that. Those spellings were there. So in that canto you have got D-O-O-R-G-A, Durga. It belongs to that period, you see. But the point is, Savitri, what prayer she breathed, her soul and Durga knew. But here, this man also seems to know something. From above, he is watching what was happening at 6 o'clock in the morning in the hermitage. So he has understood that she is praying to Durga for protection for her force. So that must have been her prayer. And he has somehow got the hint that that is the prayer, and it is with that prayer, now with that force of Durga, she is standing there in front of him. Mighty art thou with dread goddess filled, you are filled with the power of Durga, to whom thou criest at dawn in the dim mood. So he knows what she was crying for. So it means that he is coming fully prepared, fully armed to meet the power with which Savitri will be protected. In all his strength, he is not leaving anything behind to chance. He has watched what is happening, and therefore when he is going to confront Savitri, he will come again with his full force there. He has to come then. And he is there with that full force to oppose the force which is there in the soul of Savitri now, of Durga. To whom thou criest at dawn, the dim wood. Use not thy strength like the wild Titan soul. Yes, you have got a strength, but don't be violent, don't be stormy, don't be like a Titan to use the strength. Use it in the divine way. Touch not the seated lines, the ancient laws. Respect the calm of great established things. That is his whole argument. Yes, you are filled up with that power, but respect also the law here. Respect also the law here. Use not the strength like a wild Titan. So, this is remarkable. He is already watching from above what is happening on the earth, you see. That is important. Now, this worshipping of Durga on the battlefield is an important thing. I already told you earlier that it is she who gives the victory on the battle. And therefore Savitri approaches Durga and worships her in the morning. I am going now to meet my enemy, your enemy. So be with me. She is going with that. In the story of Mahabharata, as I told you earlier, Arjuna had lost all his courage. He had become so dejected that he refused to fight. And then follows a big sermon of 700 shlokas. And then he accepts what the teacher, the guide, his charioteer tells him, Krishna, take up the weapon and kill the enemy. Arjuna is now ready to fight the enemy. He has picked up the bow. So at that point of time, Krishna tells him, look, you are ready to fight, but first please get down from the chariot. Get down from the chariot and offer your worship to Durga. Offer your worship to Durga. I am there, all right, but go and offer your worship to Durga. And then come and pick up your weapon. That is what Arjuna does. He gets down from the chariot, steps down, worships her, prays to her, and then he is ready to fight. The victory is then sure. She is the giver of victory. Same thing happened in the case of Ramayana, as I told you. On the day when Rama is going to fight Ravana, he does that yajna, and the yajna is an offering to Durga, goddess Durga. They were short of one lotus. 108 lotuses are required. They had only 107. But Rama's eyes are like lotus. Rajiva Lochanam, Rajiva, lotus, Lochana, eyes. So he picks up one of his eyes and puts it in the yajna. Rajiva Lochanam. Whatever sight he has, it is that sight now which is offered to the divine, so that it becomes a divine sight. He has offered his eye, means he has given up his sight, his way of thinking, seeing, doing things. All right, now it is with you. And then when that yajna is done, Ravana is killed by Rama. You see. So the goddess Durga, the goddess of battlefield and victory, that is what is here. Use not the strength like the Titan, like the wild Titan soul. Touch not the seated lines. So the lines are fixed. This is the way things are happening. You follow them. The ancient laws, I am the upholder of the law. They have been there all along, you see. Yama. Yama means death. Yama means law. I am the law. So all the laws are fixed. Cosmic laws are there. Don't break the laws. Follow them laws. Respect the calm of great established things. They have been there. You pay proper homage to them. Respect them. Don't be violent. Don't be Titan.